Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Millie and I love indie makeup, especially shiny and shifty and sparkly eyeshadows, and sometimes I like to try out other brands that are not indie. I believe Moira Cosmetics isn't indie. I'm pretty sure. But anyways, I have a bunch of products. I mentioned these in a video where I talked about what I bought for my 30th birthday a couple of videos back, and I just wanted to put these all on my face in one video. I have already tried some of the products off camera, and some of them are a little bit more like first impressions. Now, Moira Cosmetics, I've definitely heard of them before. I believe like last year they were releasing some palettes here and there, but they looked really cheap. They were mixing eyeshadows with face products, and I just really am not into that kind of stuff, and the color stories just weren't really exciting. So I was like kind of like, okay, like I see you over there. And then they came out with these blushes, and that's when I was like, okay, maybe I should start paying attention to Moira Cosmetics. I did not initially buy these. I almost bought like a bunch of shades, but I was like, I'm gonna hold off because I'm still on a cream blush kick for sure, and I just finally wanted to dip my brushes into the brand and try out some of their products, especially eyeshadow. They've come out with so many eyeshadow palettes, and they've definitely upped their game up. Like, they're on trend. They've been doing some themes, and this one I believe was like some sort of like a sweets theme. So there's cupcakes and candy imprints in these shadows, and this is the All That Is You Sweet Series palette, and this is what it looks like on the inside. I will show you some close-ups as well as some swatches, of course, and this one really is the one that captured me. They also have a pastel colorful eyeshadow palette, and then they have some more neutral palettes as well as some that are a little bit more grungy. They have like pops of like orange and green in them, and I feel like they've been really coming up on those trends because I was definitely tempted by those palettes, so I definitely recommend checking those out. And then this past summer they did come out with some more summery kind of launch, which is the Sun Glow Face and Body bronzer and a highlighter, which I didn't know was for body, so that's why they're huge. So I got those as well, and then I got two brushes because I think they were like $7 each or something, so I was like, I need to try these. So these prices are very much on par with like BH Cosmetics, NYX, I would say, so very much like mid-tier drugstore, which also is a huge plus. And they also have sales, I would say, pretty regularly from what I've seen. Especially excited to see what they have in store for like a holiday collection and a Black Friday sale. So if you would like to see the two looks I created with this palette and how the other products apply, then just keep watching. I'm priming my eyelid with the Natasha Denona primer. I'm going to use one of the brushes that I got. This is the SP104 brush. Seems like a pretty decent smaller shape and sized brush. Going into All That, which is this beautiful purple. Oh, okay, that's pigmented. That's a, I don't know if I wasn't expecting it, but I just went in like I normally do, and oh wow. Wiped off my brush a little bit and going in with Together, which is the shade right next to that, and it's just a little bit lighter. I'm gonna blend that out with that shade. That is so nice. I am already pretty impressed, but we'll see how the deeper mattes layer on. I always get a little nervous with new formulas to me. Going in with Without You into the outer corner. Also very pigmented. I have a tiny bit of fallout with this shade. Taking a smaller brush to blend it out. So far, so good. There is a little bit of blending away maybe happening out here. I will be testing these out on the other lid as well. So let me go back in with just a little bit. But it looks like it packs on fine. There are only 4 shimmers. I'm going to use my finger and go in with To Me. These remind me of the way they look in the pan, at least, and the way they feel. They very much remind me of the Glam Light eyeshadow, shimmer shadows. And I feel like that's coming on. Like it's nice, but it's not like really impactful. I'm going in with Lovin', which, oh yeah, I knew this one's gonna be a good one. I might just stretch that all the way across. Oh, I like that shade a lot more. That one has some major impact. Again, priming with the Natasha Denona eyeshadow primer. Going in with Take Care. I'm gonna put that right into the center of my crease and blend it upwards. I'm gonna do a halo eye on this eye. That came on super easy. Next I tapped into Dearly, and I'm going to tap it onto my inner corner and then blend it up slowly into the crease. There isn't like another lighter shade to really blend this out per se. Just doing the same thing on over here. But these are so pigmented. A little bit goes a long way. I'm gonna go and just pack on a little bit more. I do feel like this one is kind of blending away a little bit more than I would like it to. I'm gonna use this other brush, even though it's kind of smushed. It's called SP103 because it's clean. And I'm gonna use this to blend. Let's see how this blends. I just wanna like feather out the edges a little bit. This kind of like feel like blended it away. So let me go back in my other brush. I just really am out of clean brushes basically. And I'm just gonna pack it on a little bit more. So just adding on a little bit more. And I do feel like very pigmented, but just a little bit of unevenness happening. But it is kind of common with these kinds of shades, but I feel like nowadays there's just so many formulas out there that I feel like I've experienced a lot of really nice deeper blues that don't have any issues. I'm just further blending it out. Taking a clean brush and a little bit of setting powder that is my skin tone and just using it on the outer blend. I'm going to use my Fairnay Pixie Epoxy and see how the shimmers apply with that. Tapping it out. Going in with the To Me, since I kind of covered it on the other eye with Lovin', even though I feel like Lovin' would really look good here, but I kind of like the nude pop like right in the center. It goes well with the crease shade. I'm just putting that in the center. I still feel like this one's like, meh. It's not very sparkly. I'm going to use the color corrector concealer in Peaches and Cream, or 105, and I'm gonna use that like underneath, just right here. This is like the same type of, I think, concept as the color corrector from Becca. But I'm just putting on a little bit because the other day I put on a little bit too much and it just looked really, really chunky under my eyelid, under my eyes, especially with concealer over it. And I'm just tapping it in with my finger, and I'm gonna let that sit just for a little bit. Next, I'm going in with concealer. This is the Boing concealer from Benefit. I'm just gonna again put it over here because I'm gonna be blending it outward. I usually never do this on camera, so it feels really weird. But this is kind of what I do. I just have this really small sponge and I'm tapping it on. Sometimes I do also let the concealer sit a little bit before I start blending it out. I'm just working down. Next, I'm taking some setting powder and I'm picking it up with the sponge and just setting that, patting it. I'm gonna finish this lower lash line off with Without You. This shade is seriously so pigmented. I definitely feel like because it is so pigmented and powdery, you have to be kind of careful. I'm gonna go with Passionate under my lower lash line. It's a little bit of a different type of vibe, but I really wanted to dip into some other shades. And then I'm gonna take Lovin' and I'm just gonna put it right in the inner corner. This side, I'm taking Dearly and putting it under my lower lash line. Then next to it, I'm taking It's Official. Just wanted to add like a pop in there. And again, Lovin' as the inner corner highlight. And here's the other finished look. So here's one finished look. So I put on the Juvia's Place #2020 lipstick, and in case anyone's interested, I am wearing the Ordinary Serum Foundation in the shade 1.2Y. It's way too yellow. I had to try to tone it down, but if it looks a little off, that's why. And I set that with the NYX Cosmetics Can't Stop Won't Stop Fair powder. And so next I have the blush, and this is the Signature Ombre Blusher Orange Blossom. And I'm really sad to dip into it because I love the embossing and stuff. But I'm going to be using this Refer 05 brush. They did send this to me. And I've been really enjoying it. It's extremely soft, and I think it picks up blushes like really well. Like powder blushes. I'm not definitely using this for something else. But this is not going to go with this look whatsoever. But I just want to try it. So I'm just putting that on in a swiping motion. Definitely applied it a little too heavy there. I wonder like So this is what it looks like when I kind of swipe through sideways. So we picked up a lot of orange on this side and a lot of the other kind of pinky orange on that other side. So I feel like maybe I need to be like swirling or something. So let's try this side. It's applying a little bit. That's definitely not my comfort zone. So we're gonna try to tone this down, but it's definitely like this shade heavy versus this shade. So I think I need to kind of just very gently dip into the other shade next time. But I'm going to take the NYX setting powder. I'm going to use this kind of brush because that's going to be my best bet, is like a really stiff, really thick brush. And then on this side, I mean, I'm just taking this off anyway, so it's kind of fine. But at least for like the thumbnail picture, it would be great if I didn't. But now we know they're really pigmented, at least this shade is. So I feel like that's as much as I can take it down, so I'll know next time to go in with a much lighter hand. And then next I'm going to use the Sun Glow Face and Body Bronzer in the shade 001 Sun Kissed. And I like using this Clionadh stained glass brush because it's nice and fluffy. It's not too dense. And I'm just gonna put that kind of on the outer perimeter of my face. This does have like a smell kind of similar to the Physicians Formula butter bronzer. I almost said body butter, I don't know why. But this gives me just a little bit of tone. It doesn't give me like too much bronzing, which I do prefer. I do like this shade much better than the Physicians Formula bronzer that I have, for sure. And I feel like you can only get it to a certain level. Like this will not over apply, at least on my skin tone, maybe if you're fairer than me. And then next I have the Sun Glow Face and Body Highlighter in Sweet Champagne, again 001, and it's so shiny. This is a really sparkly highlighter. So what I have been doing is I've been picking it up on this, again, a stained glass brush, but it's just like a synthetic brush. You can use whatever, of course. And I like to spray it. And I just picked it up and I sprayed it. And I like to use the very edge of the spray, like the end of the spray is what I meant to say, because I don't want it to be like too wet. And then I feel like it just gives it like this beautiful sheen to it. It's a really, you can go in dry and I think you can get it a bit softer, but it's definitely one of those highlighters you can get like really blingy. And that also is kind of taking down the blush a little bit, which is good because it's too much blush. And then I'm gonna try to cover this blush area that I really messed up on. And I'm not going to do it on my, I would sometimes do it up here, but I have like a pimple there, so I don't really want to accentuate that. And that's kind of where I do my highlighter, pretty much. And so those are all the products. I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the eyeshadow palette, especially. Super pigmented. I need to use it more to get a feel for the other deeper shades in here because they are pretty powdery, but they're so pigmented, so you have to be careful, especially if you like to build eyeshadows versus like go in and get like full opacity. Also, the shimmers, a little bit underwhelming. Lovin' was really beautiful. They still remind me for sure of the Glam Light shimmers, but to me it was a little bit more satin on the lid. It's not really anything impactful. And then I did not use this one, which is more of like a chocolate brown shimmer. I feel like it's going to be similar to me. I'm definitely impressed because I believe this palette is $18. I'm not sure. I will put it up on the screen, but I feel like it was $18 or $20. So about like BH pricing, which I feel like is really good. And I haven't tried like that many BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes, but I know they've also recently improved their formulas. I did get the Sweet Shop palettes from them, but I just wasn't really impressed with the two that I kind of tried with the mattes. But that's just like a comparison. I feel like a lot of this stuff is kind of almost like drugstore level, so definitely like BH pricing, NYX pricing, not like the medium level of drugstore prices. So not like quite as low as e.l.f. and Wet n Wild, even though I feel like e.l.f. and Wet n Wild have kind of like here and there been a little bit more expensive. And then these two brushes, I did really only get to use one mostly, and it seemed to work pretty fine. The other one kind of blended the shadow away, so I don't know if it's just because there's like, it got flattened during transit because of the sleeve that it was in. But I need to try those out further. And then the blush is so pigmented. I'm glad that I only got one. I feel like I don't need any more. I do prefer still my cream blushes, but this is so pigmented. And I think that's one of the reasons I prefer cream blushes, is I just feel like I can build easier and take away easier than powder. And I also like a more dewy look. I don't want to have to set everything to go in with a matte powder, because otherwise it will stick down to a wet foundation, you know. But either way, it is a gorgeous shade. I'm glad I picked up this shade. Very pigmented. I need to next time go in like more up here, and then just like a light touch in here, but definitely don't go swirling around in here. The bronzer I'm really enjoying. I like it. I wish it was smaller. I did not read when I was ordering these, so I did not know that they were going to be humongous. But yeah, they're for body, so you can use them like in the summer. And I don't think I've ever bronzed my body or highlighted my body, but maybe that is something I need to try out next summer, because we're heading into winter now, so too late for that. I like it. Smells really good. It smells very similar to the Butter Bronzer. It's pretty, it's not like too strong, but it's definitely like prominent. Isn't that the same thing? Anyways, I also like that it has a sheen, because I don't really have any bronzers that have a little bit of a sheen. And then the highlighter, I really like this. I am never going to use this up. I mean, I think I would pretty much have to cover my whole entire body in this for probably a year to get through it. Maybe less. But it's a lot of product. It is really stunning though. I really like it. These are the kind of highlighters I like on my skin, because I feel like I can smooth them out so that they don't accentuate my skin texture. And then the color correctors, I've used these off camera, not except the green one. This is the first time today that I used it. I used it to cover here and a couple spots here. I feel like they're a little bit on the liquidy side, which I don't prefer, because that means if you go with these first and then you go on with foundation, the foundation, because it's so much wetter, it will just pick it up. So I think I would use this like on top of foundation, and you really need like the tiniest amount. And I do like to let it sit there just a little bit, tap it out, and then let like whatever really thin coat is left, let it like kind of dry out almost, and then go in with the concealer and etc. And then these two, I've tried both, but again, they're a little bit on the liquidy side. I feel like, I don't know if it did that much. I don't know. I need to try it out more. I used way too much of this. Definitely you don't want too much of a layer of this before concealer, because it's just gonna be too much product under your eyes, and you do not want that. And it's all the products, so some of them are kind of first impressions, some of them I've used a few times, so a little bit more like a review. But let me know in the comments below if you've tried Moira Cosmetics, if you've tried any of their other palettes, because now I'm kind of eyeing some of their other palettes. Not that I need any more eyeshadow palettes, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts, because I would say that Moira is very affordable. So that's everything for this video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you subscribe. There's so much makeup content, any makeup, all kinds of different makeup, just lots of eyeshadow tutorials especially already on my channel, and much more to come. You don't want to miss out. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time.